till the end of the week, I will be able to pronounce your name.
That's good. Okay.
So, to say what is the BlueTech Cluster Alliance, so we are an alliance of 10 blue economy clusters from US, Canada, France, Norway, Portugal, and Spain and Ireland. Also, it was an initiative that was taken by TMA BlueTech from Michael Jones, who is with us and the chairman of BlueTech. But with no further ado, because we have time to I would say to respect. At 9:45 we are over. Over, please take the floor.
Okay. Is this on? No?
Yeah.
It's on? Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, it's on?
Not really.
Yeah, good. Okay,
Please use your headphones. Okay. Very well.
Thank you, Ruben. I have a difficult last name, that's for sure. So when I'm abroad, I only call myself Mr. Owen. It's easier. So, and thank you. Yeah, we was challenged to talk about the clusters and their role in to enforce a collaborative and sustainable ocean development. And that's a very important topic. In fact, the cluster is a way of connecting all stakeholders, which is growing and becoming more and more popular all over the world, as far as I reckon. So I'm going to try to elaborate a little bit on this as a start on this discussion. So, do organized industrial clusters play an important role in promoting and implementing a collaborative and sustainable ocean development? And this is a really important, of course, question. And the short answer, I think, is yes. It is important, but we're not there yet. This is not a kind of a mature way of working yet. So still, there's a way to go. So I'm going to try to, in this context, I'm going to try to talk a little bit about how we do it in GC Ocean Technology. We are a large cluster in Bergen, Norway, west coast. And basically, what we do is, the Norwegian government have set up a huge plan or transition plan, really, for becoming more sustainable, of course, in all industries. We are focusing on the ocean industries, which is by far the largest industry in Norway, and represent about 70% of all our export value. Now, they have done excellent work in setting up strategies for how we're going to go about doing all this. And it's documented in a couple of reports. So the mandate of GC Ocean Technology is really to take this strategic ambition and more or less implement it. And the way we do this is that, as you probably all know, Norway has a large offshore oil and gas industry, which they have been running for decades. Most of what we know from life or doing underwater technology is harvested from this industry. So our mandate, the way we go around, is we take all this competence and technology, and in the way we repurpose it and reuse it in new applications, meaning in related markets like offshore renewable energy. That's mainly, for the time being, offshore wind, but in this case it's floating wind. It's not bottom-mounted wind because the best resources are far out in the ocean. And that's also where all this technology from the oil and gas industry, we can benefit from that one. But we also into tidal and we also into wave. But they are more upcoming industries. Another thing is of course next generation seafood farms. A lot of this technology is implemented in the next generation seafood farms. Has to do with sensors, has to do with engineering, has to do with when they put more steel into the ocean, has to do with coating, has to do with anchoring, and so forth. I can mention many more things. And finally, also marine minerals. The green shift will need by 2050, with the ambitions we have in the world, 5 times as much minerals as, if I can call it, the fossil industry or age we're still in. And we need to get that mineral from somewhere. And this is also an area where we can reuse all the competence from subsea competence to find this mineral and in a sustainable way build an industry. So that's the strategy. So what do? We are very committed to building an ecosystems for involving all the stakeholders. We very much commit to this model, which we call a 5-stakeholder model or Pentagon model, or many names here. But anyway, what we have done the last years is we have added risk or the capital side and also the entrepreneurs. And especially we focus on the scale-ups, the upcoming new huge companies. I don't have time to share with you all our services, what we do. I'm just going to give you some examples of this. One of the important things I want to mention is the programs we are doing, common programs, which we very much spend a lot of our time talking with the industry and try to come up with programs where there are common issues. Either it's challenges or upcoming problems in the industry. So we spend a lot of time in finding this out and be in a way relevant. So we do that on a continuously basis. And then we set up projects, and we also set up projects where we help them finance those projects. And these are, of course, common projects. We do also marketing and promotions and so forth. So I'm just going to give you a quick kind of idea of what's happening when we're doing these things. So this is an innovation work camp we did just 1 month ago, where we were a lot of companies, about 70 companies coming together and doing innovation workshops for coming up with projects addressing issues important for the industry. And from here we designed these up as projects, and we also tried to find common financing for them. Could be in the Norwegian Research Council or in EU financing of some sort. So that's how we do it. And this ends up with projects like this. This is really a project started as an innovation camp, organized by the Norwegian Research Council together with us and a lot of companies, and it ended up as a project where we, from offshore floating wind, have designed a way to store this energy far out in the ocean. And as I mentioned, the way we store it is we just we use the subsea technology to do an electrolysis first of all, and we store it as hydrogen as an energy carrier at the sea bottom. And from there you can transport it either in pipelines or in containers, as shown down here. So that's just an example of projects which comes up from all these innovation workshop camps. And of course, the reason we're here, international collaboration, becoming more and more important. And I guess the most important part work we are doing is taking part in the BlueTech Cluster Alliance, which is here. And we also going to sign a MOU later on today, stepping this the BlueTech Cluster Alliance up. It's a really important work, and I look upon this as maybe one of the most important issues in the next version of clusters, and how we can help to answer questions as raised in the beginning here. Okay, I have to skip this. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Okay. I skipped this. I'm gonna hang some questions up for you, because what we're gonna do here is also try to find out how we're gonna continue work more efficiently and work more together. And this is really a table from a Canadian study, which I think is quite good, quite important, raises a lot of important questions of what will, how would the next generation cluster looks like. And to be short here, it kind of goes from being a regional organization supporting regional goals, regional companies, and in a way to have a broader and bigger mandate on a national and global level to really be an efficient tool in achieving all the goals from Paris, Glasgow, and so forth. So this is really important. This is a discussion coming up in Norway these days. How should the next generation of the clusters be? How should they be organized? How should we build them? And this also brings up much more, or the issue of working internationally will become much more important in the future. So that's why I'm very happy to be here and being part of stepping up the BlueTech Cluster Alliance. Ruben, I think I stopped there. I think I've run out of time. So
Yeah.
thank you all.
Thank you, Ove. Okay, Matt, take the floor.
Yes.
And here we have a challenge to with climate change,
better.
you know, because
Yeah.
here it's a bit windy, and so but we will tackle it. Matt,
How's the sound?
thank you, Ove.
Very good. Welcome. My name is Matt Klassen. I'm the Executive Director of TMA BlueTech, and I'm very happy to be here to tell you a little bit about our particular cluster. And I would like to invite you just to imagine what that could look like in a particular location around the world, wherever you might be located, and what happens when you do it over time and what kind of an effect it has on the economy. Mindful of the audience, I want to make sure that everybody knows what a cluster is, of course. I want to make sure everybody knows what the blue economy is and what BlueTech is. So without further ado, I will start. So what is a cluster? So it's just geographic concentrations of different companies and stakeholders that are involved under a particular purpose, and they are linked by different industries in different sectors. And so that could include government, academia, industry, capital as well. So that's just basically an understanding of what a cluster is. Yep. Let's go forward. All right, so the blue economy. When we hear that, I mean, this is something that a lot of people hear, but they don't quite understand what this is. So the blue economy is basically made up of three components. We have the maritime sector, we have freshwater and saltwater, and then we have BlueTech. So when we talk about who is TMA BlueTech, well, we are a sustainable, or we promote the sustainable blue economy. And our mission statement is sustainable science-based ocean and water industries and promoting blue tech and blue jobs. So basically we were founded in 2007. Triple helix is what the cluster is. It's academia, government, and industry all coming together. We have 60 plus members. We are rebuilding that after COVID. It was at our highlight, or highest point, about 120 companies, but we're building back. And it's 14 years, comes with extensive connections all over the place, just like here. So like was mentioned, we are part of the BTCA. There are 10 organizations presently. Later today, we are going to expand that. And so very happy to be a part of the MOU. So these are just part of our activities. You know, we want to promote, you know, sustainable blue tech and what it is. We want to promote our member industries, our member companies, both to local and international communities. We also want to promote special projects that we've got. We want to attract investment capital and create an ecosystem where startups can thrive with capital available to them. Of course, workforce development is very, very important. As we move along, we see that there are amazing amounts of high-paying blue jobs out there in new sectors in the blue economy. And of course, we recently launched a K through 12, which is, you know, basically schools for kids as they grow up, public schools, to learn more about the ocean and water spaces, to have a greater appreciation for it, and then hopefully to be able to channel them into blue jobs of the future. Moving forward. 16 sectors here. Won't go into all of these, but these are just a few of what the sectors are that we represent. And if you can imagine the economic impact behind each of them, it's significant. So I just want to get into the San Diego region. That's where we're from. And we're going to go over the economic study that we just commissioned. This is We did the original one in 2012, came up with some very impressive numbers, but then we redid it for 2020. It was recently released in May of this year, and so just in the San Diego region alone, we have 4,320 blue economy businesses just in the San Diego region alone. That's a significant number of businesses. This generated 16.2 billion and employed more than 114,000 people. That employment is 9% of total employment for the region. That is also very significant. This sector increased by 163% in terms of employment from 2012 to 2020. And that is with taking into account COVID, like the first year of COVID. So the employment still increased with that, with COVID there. And then of course, the BlueTech only businesses employed 24,000 people in the San Diego region alone. So what this actually does is, according to the report, this makes San Diego one of the greatest concentrations of enterprise devoted to the blue tech sector and blue economy in the world. And this is over time of putting this together. So with time and focus, then these are kind of results we can look at. Now, what does this mean in terms of the multipliers? So like for every dollar you put in, how much do you get out of it? So for every dollar we put in the San Diego region alone, you get 2.26 out of it. That's very important in terms of a cluster. You're putting these together, you're actually getting these kind of numbers coming out of it. And how the California as a whole, that multiplier in the blue economy compares to others in California, you can see it outcompetes all of them. There's a lot of financial possibility in this for sustainable blue technology. So there's a profit motive to be able to put out and develop sustainable blue tech. So just want to go over a few events and opportunities. You know, like this is what we do as a cluster. So we have our 14th annual BlueTech Week coming up. That's 2021. We had over 500 people arrive from over 30 countries. We have a monthly webinar series of things that are free to the public. We talk about different parts of the blue economy and what different companies are doing. We have executive talks. We have member site visits, international networking events, and also special events as well. One more. Okay. So opportunities for people to join TMA as a member. You can attend BlueTech Week and become a sponsor to get your message out there through us. And just to bring it to an end, these are like a smattering of some of our member companies. These are partner organizations that we're involved with. You know, after 14 years, we have quite an extensive network. And then this is just end right here, real quick, an African proverb. If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's what the cluster does with an important mission of protecting the world's ocean and water spaces through commerce, responsible, sustainable blue tech. That's what we do, and that's what we do with the BlueTech Cluster Alliance. And now I will stop there so we can have a discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt.
One back.
Sure.
Okay.
I got one right here.
So, okay, so as you can see by the two former presentations, what we see is that working together, acting collectively is key for achieving what we have to achieve. Is we have to build a sustainable economy, and with that monetizing the ocean while we can making the ocean healthy. And this is, so I'm going to also briefly present what Fórum Oceano as the Portuguese Blue Economy Cluster is doing and fostering in Portugal, but igniting the open innovation with the global link. So what is Fórum Oceano? We are the Portuguese Blue Economy Cluster. We have 136 members. We exist for 12 years, and we represent about 50% of the blue GDP in Portugal. We are a recognized cluster by the Portuguese government under the EU policy of industrial clusters, and we believe that blue economy is in fact a mega sector. Blue economy, sustainable economy, can deliver food, sustainable energy, transport, and tourism. But we have to make a move in technology. But we also have to make a move in our mindset, and also in something that can drive us beyond, what is making a profit. is a dream. And here, acting collectively between the clusters, because we mobilize SMEs, the day-to-day entrepreneurs that have to make ends meet, but also bring innovation to the ground, is together we can build a sustainable and prosper ocean economy that fosters competitiveness as well as the ocean, restoring ocean health. And why? Because we have the only way to protect effectively the ocean is to foster business models that depend on healthy oceans to thrive and prosper. And what is, the advantage is that if I have that in hand, I can make, I would say, profit with the purpose. But for that, what do we need? First, we need good and precise and robust information. So about the operations and the impact that those operations have in the ocean. As it was shown by Ove in this presentation, the technology that already exists has to be upgraded, fitted for that purpose in order to, in another context, can deliver performance in terms of operational performance with the environmental performance that is needed. So it's combining what is the twin industrial revolutions of digital plus green. So with this, it is the mantra that we use at Forum Oceano. It's the DDC mantra. You have to digitalize for decarbonize and circularize the processes and also the industrial systems. We have to move from a linear perspective in our engineering that assists our industrial systems for a circular approach. So to close the loop for reducing waste and mitigating the environmental impact. If we do this, we get profit and environmental performance. And the market is already going for it. If you go, for example, to the Financial Times has reported that in the last year and a half, 20% of the augment of financial transactions and financial operations in stock market and also investment funds are in the ESG market, in environmental and social governance. And why? Because a company, when has full scope in the environmental impact, has less risk of investment, is a better offer for investment for the investor. Why? Because the risk, operational risk goes down, and with that it becomes much safer for the investment. Of course, the growth cannot be 20% in a year or 10 or 15%. It grows steadily, 2, 1, 3% a year, but it grows. And when you compare the MSCI indexes, FTSE 100 and other sustainability indexes, what you see it is in 10 years performance, they have an overall performance that is higher than the conventional ones. So change is happening, not only by the love for saving the planet, but also because it's a smart investment. But how can you do this in a more efficient way? You have to do it, I'm going to skip this collectively, to skip some slides here. And what I'm going to show you, and I want to draw, it's a project where TMA BlueTech is our strategic partner, and GC Ocean Tech is a full partner of the consortium of the Atlantic Smart Ports Blue Acceleration Network, where our goal is this, is to make an acceleration network using ports as blue economy hubs. This is a project funded by the European Commission under the EMFF fund, and we have involved 33 Atlantic ports that have identified 147 pilots that can be replicated in more than one port. So what we have identified is pilots of technologies in 10 innovation challenges, which you have 5, 6, 4 ports that want to replicate the same technology. This is very important for the scalability and the replicability of technologies in a fast track. This is really accelerating. So when you do a pilot, you test the technology and its scalability potential in one shot. And you're doing this with ports, not only augmenting the environmental performance of their operations, but also bringing new businesses into ports, especially small and medium-sized ports. Also to say that Fórum Oceano will manage in this concept the Blue Hub. We were designated by the Portuguese government to manage a network of 7 open innovation hubs that will be installed in ports in Portugal, also in the archipelagos of Madeira and Azores, and a Blue Hub school for training blue professionals, because we need interdisciplinarity and cross-fertilization of knowledge between several areas to tackle the systemic challenges. But we can only do it with a global link, so acting collectively. This is why also today, at the end of the day, we're going to sign the MOU for the BlueTech Cluster Alliance, for giving a step up to join more forces and putting more resources for making this happen. And one more I would say detail is that this network, Blue Hub, is open innovation, so it's open for partnerships with companies, with research centers, and the main idea here is what accelerate the production of new ESG products and services. This network will also work very close to the Portuguese Navy's innovation ecosystem, which has recently been approved a tech-free zone in the ocean of 3,000 square meters, right in the south of Lisbon, in Troia. So that has depth from 20 meters depth to 1.2 thousand meters depth for testing any kind of technology. So all of this capacity will begin to be built from the second semester this year in the next 3 years. And we see this opportunity here at the One Sustainable Ocean venue with the UN Ocean Conference and all with this business here and with the BlueTech Cluster Alliance as ignition to start blue innovation in the high scale in Portugal with the global link. Thank you for your attention. Now let's use the time for some Q&As, and thank you for your attention. Okay, so we are still on time, so we have 15 minutes for using. Anybody wants to ask a question? The floor is open. It's still early in the morning. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Julie Angus. I sit on the advisory board for a BlueTech Innovation Hub in Western Canada. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Called COAST, Center for Ocean Applied Sustainable Technologies. And I was just wondering what opportunities exist for an innovation hub like ours to work with any of your organizations.
Sorry, can you repeat?
I thought that might be the case. Can you hear me okay now?
No,
Yeah,
fine.
okay. So my name's Julie Angus. I sit on an advisory board for a BlueTech cluster in Western Canada. It's called COAST, the Center for Ocean Applied Sustainable Technologies. And I was just wondering what kind of opportunities would exist for an innovation hub like ours, which is relatively new, to be connected with your organizations to link our countries together.
Very well. Can you please?
I can start with that. Thank you for the question. So, can everybody hear me now? I guess I want to make sure
yes.
we're good. Okay, very good. So, right now in San Diego, we are looking to get a regional working group together to stimulate innovation engines. And so that is going to work out into Los Angeles as well. And the goal is to eventually work that up the west coast of the US. So we're not quite there yet, but we're starting with San Diego as a core. There's also a strong core up in Seattle. And like I said, there's one in Los Angeles as well. And as we continue to grow out, that could easily include Western Canada as well, because the mission behind it is more important than just looking at your own region. So we want to collaborate, and that is possible. It just depends on the particular partners you want to work with. But from our side, the western part of North America, there we go. So that's what I would say. That's an immediate opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we are quite eager. As I said, we want to step up the international collaboration. So we are very eager to connect also with others, and that's one of the important things with the clusters. I mean, you're a kind of an open organization, and we are constructed to share with each other. So yes, please feel free. I mean, we can talk afterwards, and yeah.
Very well. Thank you for your question. First of all, congratulations for the initiative. So and ramping that up. So in fact, Canada now is a very important. It is a very proactive country in terms of the ocean industry and ocean innovation, and it has the advantage of having an agreement with the European Union. Not only and that agreement opens and facilitates a lot more the blending of funding, and also the cross participation of Canadian entities with European entities in consortiums and alike. Also, with the signing of the new BlueTech Cluster Alliance MOU that we're going to have today, it's going to be set up also a process for new clusters to join in, with a procedure for their approval and so on. But it's a step-by-step approach. But of course, we are eager to help in fostering that cooperation. In that regard, it is very important that you, as a cluster, and we also can help you on that, have the connection with several European countries, but also with Brussels in itself. And there is a desire from the European Commission to foster transatlantic cooperation. In fact, we're going to have a panel in the wave stage at 11 o'clock, focus in the transatlantic cooperation between clusters, but also other organizations. But like Ove said, we are, by our nature, open innovation organizations, because we have to work with our members, we serve our members, we have to understand their needs, and also how can we, in a shared service approach, fulfill their needs in order for them to scale up their businesses. So, but we are here, of course, eager to cooperate, and we can start the conversation. We have 5 days ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
My name's Yi Chow. I'm the CEO of the startup company C-Trek. I'm also a TMA BlueTech member. My question is, are you willing to share the source of funding in terms of 3 major categories, from government, philanthropic, and private? And I'm wondering what your vision in the future, that source of funding will evolve as BlueTech economy growing in the next decades.
Yeah. Very well.
Yeah, sure. We can share the kind of financing models we have, and to be short here, it's a combination between governmental money and from the industry. But as I touched upon, I think that we should put more money into this, both, and I think it's a great idea, have it as a combination between governmental money and also then in a sort of joint venture structure with the industry. Because, I mean, we always have to be close to the industry, be relevant for the industry. And in fact, the most important way we measure the success of the cluster is the number of hours or the industry spent on projects, seminars, programs, whatever we do. So, but we can also talk more about this, and we gladly share the financial models behind our business.
Yeah, I mean, I can echo what Ove said. You know, our revenues come from membership dues, from government grants, and then from special events that we put on, like BlueTech Week. I do want to point out to the audience, like Yi Chao said, the gentleman who just asked the question, he's one of our members, and he's with C-Trek. And if just to give an example of what fantastic, amazing technology is out there that's being developed now for the blue economy, he's right over there. C-Trek. You should go check it out because it's fascinating technology, and that's not just to pitch his company. It is really amazing technology out there that has an immediate impact on the environment. But that's what I can say about finance, and we're happy to share. You know, we're open, however we can help. I hope that answers your question. But again, go check out his technology, and you can see what's out there.
Okay, so I know blending financing is key for making and accelerating what we have here. But how can you make the context for blending financing? Government money, so in the cluster we are also financed partly by the government, so 1/3 of our financing comes from European funds. The other 2/3 is from the projects that we foster, and also the services that we provide to our members. But we have to be smarter in the way you do financing. And how? Blending financing, using the money in a smarter way. The government the grants are very and this is also the trend here in the European Union, used more as an ignition money, catalytic money, like the philanthropic. So the first money to be burned. And then what you have to have good quality pilots that really demonstrate the full potential of the technology, that also can come from grant, and then you are ready to go and to be exposed to the more competitive investment context. There is not I would say, lack of capital. What is needed is the right innovation context for that capital to be applied and multiplied. This is why we're very focused in structuring the innovation ecosystem, as I shown, like the Atlantic Smart Ports Blue Acceleration Network or the Blue Hubs. Is the right context where you can do the innovation that can be demonstrated, replicated, and the investor understand what is behind the technology and what it can be done. That will foster the coming of more private money for the sector and scaling up tech. In the European Union, one of the things that is, I would say, interesting is the EU Invest Blue Economy Fund. Is a fund of funds. It's 500 million euros for building new funds. It's not a lot, but it's EIF money. And EIF money is very important for diminishing the operational risk from private investors. So you'll see a lot of funding, at least here in Europe, that will start with this kind of funds, like the Portugal Blue already is a Blue Fund, is already in that direction, but we'll see more of that in this year. In fact, during this week we'll have here at this place, Wednesday, there will be the Family Office Ocean Summit with 40 investment funds that want to go in this blending finance approach, but what they are looking for is functional innovation ecosystems where they can understand better what the technology can do. This is what clusters also can foster, is this kind of open innovation ecosystem. Go ahead, please.
Okay, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So my name's Jan Przadatek. I'm Director of Technologies at Lloyd's Register Foundation. And we know that the ocean economy is going to double in the next decade. We know that's going to be a lot of technology, a lot of engineering that's going into the sea. And as a foundation, we're saying if it's not safe, it's not sustainable. So we are working with partners, wanting to work with partners to make sure that the technology and the engineering, the training is all in place to deploy this safely. So I guess I've got two questions. One is, how much are you focusing on safe implementation of these technologies? And secondly, I would love to have a conversation with the international cluster group.
Very well. So with BTCA, I can give you all after I will say this panel, you can already have a talk with us. Over. Can you jump in?
Yeah.
3 minutes.
I couldn't hear you. Can you just repeat the first question?
Yeah, so the question is, what are you doing to make sure that the technology that goes into the sea and all the things that you're working on are safe in terms of the technology usage, the application, the people, the training, everything?
Oh, okay. By safe, you meaning sustainable, or you meaning safe in a kind of?
Well, if it's not safe, it's not sustainable. If we're
Right,
damaging
yeah.
the environment, we're putting things in that kill people. They're
Yeah.
not safe. They're not sustainable.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the technology which is developed is really what we do. We really facilitate these projects coming up. So, first of all, there should be a kind of a basic need in the industry for adding into this project for develop this new technology. So we don't have any kind of requirement to which type of technology. That's really driven by the need in the industry. So we kind of we follow the projects to a certain extent, but we don't control them in that way. But we also try to facilitate handling like IPR issues and things like that when, well, many companies together develop new technology. But I mean, the trend these days is really, at least in my country, is as I mentioned, is to kind of use the technology, use the competence from an industry which were really safe when it comes to safety matters, but also use this in new upcoming industries, greener industries, more sustainable industries. So that's really a driving market force now. I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah.
Matt, do you want to?
Yeah, I can echo what Ove said, but you know, we're not a regulator. You know, we work with companies and we watch what they do, and you know, if they're going to be putting out trash in the ocean, then of course we don't want to work with them. But we're not chasing up after them and asking, you know, give us a report of how sustainable you are.
If I can you know, jump in there. So acceleration programs that foster ESG-driven progress. So you have to foster innovation, technology that really delivers, or it has a zero impact, or mitigates the impact. And again, also develop technologies that are blended into those systems for managing the impact, having the information for managing the impact, then to mitigate them. And this is what here, at least from Forum Oceano and also through BTCA, we will be focused is fostering those kind of acceleration programs that foster those technologies. But we can have a conversation on that. Okay, our time is up. So we have to end our conversation now. But we have 4 more days to talk. Thank you, Ove, for your intervention. Also, Matt, for your participation. And see you around. And take an ocean beer. So.